Welcome everyone to the Virtual School. Today we will be starting our discussion with the chapter number 2. But before starting, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel and also like the content and share it as much as you can. Promote my channel anyways. And because this is really motivating for me and it motivates me to put up more good stuff for you. Okay, so the chapter number 2. The chapter number 2 deals with the concept of object oriented programming. Okay, so in this section, in this chapter specifically, this chapter basically deals with the theoretical part of it. Later on in the next chapters, in the upcoming chapters, we will be dealing with the programmatical concepts and how to use the objects in our real life programs. Okay, for now this is more like a storytelling about the object oriented programming, and later on we will see them in actions. Okay, so in this we will be discussing the core concepts also, the objects, classes, encapsulation, data hiding and all the other concepts. Okay, so what is an object oriented programming language? A programming language that deals with the objects rather than actions are basically an object oriented programming, because they are oriented more on objects. Okay, basically we will having an object and we will having certain properties linked to it and certain methods linked to a class which we would be calling by using the objects. Okay, so you see the object play a very central role in these programming languages. Okay, one thing to remember in this section is the Simula was the first object oriented programming language. Okay, so this is a one word answer. Okay, and this might come in the board examination, so just keep that in mind. Okay, there are many other languages like Java, Python, C++, okay, and Visual Basic, .NET and Ruby, which are popular object oriented programming languages that are used. Okay, now by taking the word object, let us relate it to something real life. Okay, because this will be more explanatory for you. Like suppose if there is a person named Ram, okay, and Ram has certain properties. Okay, like Ram will have a name which is Ram, and address, he is having a weight, he is having his height, he is having age. Okay, so these are the properties that is linked to Ram. Okay, now suppose Ram is an is an employee in an IT firm. Okay, so the core functions that Ram does is he writes code, he develops a code, okay, and then he also he participates in meetings. Okay, and whatnot. Okay, so these are certain functions that Ram can perform. Okay, and Ram has certain properties. Okay, so these properties is what making you realize what Ram is. Okay, because these properties uniquely define a particular person. Each person has some unique properties which define him. Okay, like in real life you can tell who is your father, who is your mother, who is your brother, but because you know their names. Okay, because they have certain properties, they are linked to your family heritage. Okay, so that's how the objects has certain properties. Okay, which uniquely identify them. Okay, and by initializing them with these properties, multiple objects can be formed. Okay, because let's take an example first. Suppose we have a group of students. Okay, in a class we have a class and we have suppose 20 students. Okay, now each of the student is an object. Okay, and each of them has certain properties and the properties are common. Okay, but the values of those properties might be different. Okay, because all the 20 people can have different weights. Okay, they can have different age. Age might differ by a month or a day, but they can have a different age. Okay, and they can have different names also. Okay, all and if you join all these properties, okay, then you can uniquely identify each student separately. Okay, so this is what basically when we deal with the object oriented programming, this is the main concept that you have to keep in mind. Okay, now let's discuss the objects and how you uniquely identify it. Okay, like what I earlier gave was a very vague definition. Now what you would be writing in your examination is this. Okay, each object has these three basic sub properties on which you will define an object uniquely. Okay, that is, an object will have an identity. Okay, it will have certain properties and it will have a behavior. Okay, by identity I mean how do you identify that person, that particular object. Like for in the real life, a student has his name, okay, and that name uniquely identifies a student. Okay, similarly, object will have certain identity by which you can uniquely identify it. Okay, like for example, if you take a variable int a, that is integer variable, and you define it int a, that is a is the variable and it is of int. So int is basically a class, okay, and the a is an object telling that this variable can store an integer variable. Okay, so integer becomes its property. Don't go too deep into the concept for now. Later on, when you will take this as program, there you will be learning it even more. Okay, just now, just listen to the story that I am telling you. Okay, because this will be very relatable later on. Okay, and now the object will have certain properties. Okay, that is, these are the features or the attributes of an object. Okay, like for example, a student can have his name, he can have his age, he has a date of birth, he can have an address. Okay, and all these are the properties. Okay, so something to uniquely identify it becomes its identity. Properties, because it has certain attributes linked to it. And behavior. Okay, behavior of an object is defined by the functions that it can perform. Okay, because suppose if you take a dog, okay, the dog, you uniquely identify your dog by giving it a name. Okay, it has certain properties, it can run, it can bark, it can do other lot of stuff, and it has certain behavior. Okay, like it is loyal to you. Okay, when you come home, he comes to you, he has certain behavior by which you recognize him. Okay, so and he can also, he can also protect you. Okay, so these are certain behavior that is linked to an object. So an object has the identity, an object has certain properties, it has certain behavior. Okay, so I hope this is very clear to you. Now moving on to the classes. Okay, the classes is nothing but a group of objects. Okay, and by initializing a class, you can actually define an object, and you can provide it different properties, and hence the object can behave differently. Okay, now what am I telling right now is, like, let's take an example, and let me explain you. Okay, like suppose you have a mobile phone. This is also an example that is taken by the book. Okay, this is a very simple this is a very simple example, and it can explain you the entire concept of the class and the objects. Okay, now if you take a class, okay, the class has certain properties, like there are certain properties. What did I told you? The class is a collection of objects. Okay, now this object has certain properties, like it can have data, model, color, price. Okay, a mobile phone can have following. Okay, and then it has certain functions, that it can store number, and suppose missed call details, it has following functions linked to it. Okay, you can add more functions also, like dialing a number, okay, receiving a number, and all that. But for now, just taking these two functions, that our mobile phone can store numbers, and it can provide us the missed call details for now. Okay, now when you initialize a class, that is when you take an instance of a class, okay, that becomes an object. Okay, like the class was having all these properties and all this function, and when you took an instance of that class, an object was formed. Okay, and the object will have these same properties, and it can access the functions of this class. Okay, so we have defined three different instances, like Nokia Lumia, Asha, and iPhone. All of them will have data, all these properties linked to them. Okay, and they have the functions that were defined in the class. Okay, but each of them will behave differently, because you can tell that Nokia Lumia is different from the Asha and the iPhone. Okay, similarly, if you take other brands, the popular brands right now, like suppose iPhone is different from a Nokia mobile, or a BlackBerry phone is different from an Android mobile. Okay, but all of these are grouped under one category, that is mobile phone. Okay, all of them have same features, they have a model, they have color, they have price, they have data. Okay, they can perform the similar functions, but the company is different. Okay, similarly, these companies become the different instances of a class. Okay, I hope you are getting how we take the instance and we define an object for now. Okay. Later on, we will be discussing the programmatical side of it. For now, just stick to the theoretical definitions and get a picture of how the classes and the objects are actually related. This is a very core concept, and you have to get a hold of it, because later on we will be using this in every program almost. Okay. So for now, I will stop my discussion at these 2 points. In the next lecture, we will be discussing the encapsulation, data hiding, and data abstraction. Okay. Thank you. If you liked our content, kindly like, share, and subscribe us so that we get motivated and we can provide you more informative videos on the same subject.